Hi, I want to share my experience on how medical marijuana has helped me. But first, just to give you a little background about myself, I've been diagnosed with several autoimmune problems. If I have to list them, they're just like pretty long. But the main ones are lupus, CIDP, which is chronic inflammatory demyelinating polyneuropathy, and MG, Myasthenia Gravis, and plus other stuff. The autoimmune also affected my thyroid as well, so Hashimoto Thyroiditis. But anyhow, how I started with medical marijuana, but before I get to that, just a little bit of background on why I started using it. It's been basically almost 30 years that I'm on medium to high dosage of prednisone steroid that all the doctors, wanted me to reduce because the long-term usage, the side effects are very serious, and there are just so many side effects. And it suppressed your immune system, so you can easily get infection. So anyhow, I got TB like about almost 10 years ago. Of course, have to be hospitalized. And then a few years later, I got shingle. And how that affected me, the shingles, just very painful, and it came up so fast. Even when I was taking the antivirus medicine, it didn't seem to control so much. So, just from one little rash, next day it just came up very, very fast and very painful. In any case, through about maybe a week, the rash went down, but the pain stayed. And best I can describe the pain is the doctor always use like 1 to 10, and where are you? I would say like 11 or 15 at times. And so at the time that I was working with the pain management doctor that tried to put me on various medication to see if it helps, and it didn't seem to bring down that much until using oxy. And however, as you know, using oxy is also very bad. It did help me a lot, but even at the same time, it brought down maybe from 10, 11 to, I would say, 6, and then they have to give me Neurontin, Lyrica, nortriptyline, and something else, just to kind of get all the dimension of the pain. And I would prescribe the pain as like the burning sensation on the skin. It's like you have a hot iron right on your skin, and sometimes it's more or less, but mostly it's pretty constant. And then you have this itchy pain, which is, it just makes everything worse. And then you have achy pain at the same time, and one of the worst is sharp shooting pain, which comes at random. It can come every few minutes or every minute, many times a day. So anyhow, I was on oxy and all these medication, and then also other medicines for my other problems. And I was also on IVIG. And at the time, I was living overseas, and there did not seem to be any regulations regarding using oxy. So when I came back to the US, it's a reality hit, because the pain doctor here did not want to prescribe that high of oxy that I was using. I was using about 200 milligrams a day, sometimes slightly more. And at the time I was using about that dosage for maybe 4 years. And I really depend on it. I didn't think I could live without it, because the pain, it was just bad that I would rather die, honestly. Plus other of my problems, autoimmune problems, also contribute to general fatigue. And the fatigue that I would describe, it's not just like when you go out running for 20 miles and you have that fatigue. Well, I never really ran that much anyway. But I was active before all of this happened 30 years ago. And, you know, the fatigue sets in very quickly, and sometimes I felt like I have a little bit of energy, then I would do something for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I have to be lying down flat. Mostly watching TV, because even reading a book takes energy. That's what I learned. That, wow, you know, reading a book really takes a lot of energy. I didn't realize that before all of, you know, the stuff that happened to me. And anyhow, the fatigue is so bad that, like, if I would dread going to see a doctor, because then I know, you know, when you go out, you have to like act, you're up, and you can't be walking and like, you know, dragging yourself, although I always felt that I was dragging about 1,000 pounds every time. So when I came back home, I needed like at least a week to recover. And so my doctor appointments, I try to, you know, if I go in to see a doctor, I would try to see 2 if I could, and then, you know, leave a gap and then go to see another doctor in a week or a week and a half. And so I kind of got used to that, and, you know, managed myself. And having autoimmune problems that affect nervous systems, which is basically everything, you know, walking, talking, breathing, digesting, the heart, everything basically. So, you know, but I was always positive, and even though looking back, you know, being positive sometimes is not so good, because then you kind of have this kind of a false narrative, and your body couldn't do or couldn't achieve, and you push, and then you pay for it. So over time, I learned to really manage and accept, and hoping in the future one day there will be something that will help me get myself back. But anyhow, when I came back to the US, the pain doctor didn't want to prescribe that much. So he prescribed me, even, I started with 180 for a day, and 180 milligrams, and I was using 200 to 220, both extended release and the immediate release. So, and he said that he will have to work to reduce this pain medication, and I wanted also reduce it, but my pain was really bad. So, every month he would reduce by 10, by 20, and I tried to bear with it, and I just kind of nervous that, I wouldn't be able to, and he said, oh, your body will get used to the pain. Not the way I have it. So, anyhow, so I started to look for alternative online, and I've heard of medical marijuana, but I was afraid to take it because the news or what you understood about marijuana is totally different. It's not medicine, it's addictive, and da-da-da. I'm already on oxy. Luckily, I'm not addicted badly or addicted to it. I'm more or less depend on it. Couldn't live without it. I don't know if it's depend or addicted. Not quite sure. But I wasn't looking to increase, I was looking to decrease, but at the same time, it has to have something to help me. And so I started looking into medical marijuana and trying to read it and all of that. And then when I asked my pain doctor, and he said, no, don't use it. I asked another of my doctors, said, no, don't use it. And my neurologist, who's a very good doctor that I have been seeing him for a long time, brought up, why don't you try medical marijuana? I said, really? You think it's okay? So he said, yeah. So now I came back home, I started even looking at it more seriously and really reading, listening to YouTube and what other people experiences were like and how it helped them. So then I contacted a registered medical marijuana doctor because it has to be prescribed by that registered doctor. So I would say even from the first moment on, it changed. First of all, it changed your hope. It changed your hope. It's just brighter, and everything is brighter because I use a vape. Is the flower leaves forms, and you put in a vape and you smoke it, or vape it rather. And from even the first vape, I could feel that my pain reduced. With all of the 5 or 6 different kinds of medicine that trying to control the pain, dimension of pain, it's still always about 4 to 6 left. You know, it never got rid to close to even 2 ever. But with medical marijuana, it seems to bring it down to about 2, I would say. And the thing is the effect lasts, like, if you vape, is about a couple hours. But if you take the oil, then it will last longer, 8 hours, because it, you know, it's in your body. And then you just have to keep putting some on. Now, using medical marijuana, I was using without really thinking that it's, you know, I know I'm reducing the medicine, so that actually helped me reduce the pain medication relatively quickly. First, I got rid of Lyrica. I felt I didn't need it anymore. You know, meanwhile, Oxy keeps coming down, and got rid of Neurontin. Like, over time, it's basically, right now, I'm on just 10 milligrams of Oxy, which I hope it will be 0 soon. I've been using it now for almost 2 years, and I actually did not expect that I would be able to reduce my prednisone either, but this medical marijuana and CBD has helped me to have somewhat a sense of well-being, or a glimpse of it, or at least now if I do something, I can do it better, and I recover faster. I don't need like a week or 2 weeks. I still get tired daily and fatigued daily, but you know, sometimes a couple of days, depends on the activity I do. And so then I found that, oh, I can reduce my prednisone slowly. So I was taking about 60 milligrams alternate day, and over almost 2 years, so now I'm down about 4 milligrams. I never ever was able to reduce to even 30, because whenever it hits 30, then there's some symptoms and some other things came up, and so it go back up high again, and I have to taper down, you know. So like, in general, I was taking probably, I don't know, 24, 25 different medications at the time. And now I'm taking about 8 with reduced dosage. It's, and also still feel okay, you know, and I hope this continues. And if you have like questions about, oh, is marijuana addictive and things like that, nope. There's research done. You can read the research on PubMed. That there's so many research done now. It's really crazy that they had made this illegal and even class 1, you know, drug. You know, just anyway, but that's politics and stuff. But at the same time, I was using medical marijuana, but I really hate the smell. They also work with you to help you and which kind of medical marijuana that you need to use, and there's one that prescribed to me that I use for sleeping. So because the pain wakes me up, almost constantly, so not getting enough sleep is also not good for your health in general. And so medical marijuana that they gave for sleeping helps also a lot. Help me sleep, and I'm doing well, better and better, every day, every week, every month. Every month, if I look back, each month there's a progress. I mean, it's not like this, but definitely there's some increment, constant. And if friends haven't seen me for a few months, they would notice, oh, you look better, you seem to have more energy, at least now I can actually go out to have lunch or dinner with them, whereas before I just didn't feel like doing it, didn't want to do it. So quality of life is definitely better, so right. So anyhow, I was mentioning that about I don't like the smell of marijuana, so I was looking for also another alternative. I wonder if they make marijuana without the smell or things like that, or what can replace or help kind of the same way. Understanding marijuana has two major compounds, is CBD and THC. And THC is very small percentage of the whole plant or the whole thing. Now then I learned to know about the sister plant, which is hemp. And hemp mainly or wholly contains CBD, which is the major part of marijuana that helps most people. THC also helps as well, but it's more of affecting more of the brain part. But in terms of getting yourself better, in general, I don't think we really need THC except maybe certain cases. So I was happy to learn about CBD that derived from hemp plant, and also it's legal in every state now. So you can order online. You can order CBD and tried it as well, and to see. I helped some other people, when they had fibromyalgia or whatever, and try CBD, and it seemed to help them as well. The thing about CBD is you got to do your research as well. It has to be from a good company. It has to have a third-party testing. You need to know the source where they get their hemp, and you want their third-party certificate to show, the amount of CBD that they claim, as well as any other contents that, because there could be some metals, some pesticides, then, things in there. So you want it as the best form you can get. Anyhow, so, that's what's been helping me these past 2 years. Feel overall better. I'm just, looking forward to getting better and better and better every day. I hope this is helpful, and I'm really grateful for my doctor and doctors, and my neurologist is really the best doctor. He cares, and he asked questions, he listened. I mean, 30 years ago when I was diagnosed with myasthenia gravis, I went to see another neurologist, not Dr. Younger, and he was good too, but at the same time, I felt like he wasn't really listening, didn't really hear me, and the meeting was kind of short and rushed. So when I contacted the Myasthenia Foundation, they recommended Dr. Younger, and when I went to see him, the first meeting he spent a full hour with me, and in my case, I was deteriorating very fast, so, and because the other doctor also recommended the surgery, and I just want to get also a second opinion. But then I found that Dr. Younger was a lot better, so I, stayed with him up until now. So, anyway, I hope my story helps someone who's kind of trying to decide, not deciding, or you should or should not use medical marijuana or CBD. It's worth it. Thank you for listening.